from 1% to 10 times, using the asymmetric bet model to turn small opportunities into fortunes. If you have followed our series, Wealth Exploitation System, Frameworks to Reprogram Your Finances from the Beginning, you have already learned how deconstruct the thought of scarcity with Episode 1, Why Save Like a Poor Person Keeps You Broke. Set the foundations of a reliable initial investment with Episode 2, How to Invest Your First $100 Step by Step. Perceiving failure as an asset with Episode 3, The Anti-Wallet Rule. Why billionaires intentionally invest in their failures first. Realign your most precious resource, your time. Thanks to Episode 4, The Wealth Gap in Your Calendar. How do the ultra-rich optimize their inextensible time? If that hasn't been done yet, no problem. You can watch them right after this video, because these previous episodes lay the foundation of what we are going to see. For the moment, the important thing is to focus on what I will reveal to you today, because this is the masterpiece and missing from the puzzle. Now that you have settled in, remember this. Wealth is not the result of a succession of colossal successes, but rather the sum of small, well-thought-out attempts, and which sometimes fail, but which are all likely to bring you a fortune. It is this counterintuitive thought that separates the billionaire or visionary from a lambda individual. The art of investing 1% effort for 10 times more return at high potential. Welcome everyone to From 1% to 10 times. Use the asymmetric betting model to turn small opportunities into fortunes. This 5th episode that completes the first season of this series will radically change the way you make every decision starting from today. The concern does not lie in hard work. Everyone works hard, whether they are rich or poor. The real problem arises when one lingers to follow symmetrical rules. By symmetry, I mean the fair exchange according to which you work for 8 hours, you are paid for these 8 hours, no more, no less. You set aside $1,000 securely in a saving account for a modest interest. Risk is proportional to reward, and this is where financial wealth stagnates. We have been conditioned to seek certainty in everything we do and to aim right to maximize our gains for sure, except that until now, it hasn't allowed us to become completely rich. One of the main reasons for this could be as follows. Real wealth is forged on asymmetric bets. Indeed, why do we continue to avoid opportunities that generate 10 times more gain just because they carry a 1% risk of loss? We want fortune, but we refuse to take the bare minimum of indispensable risk. So that you can really grasp the concept, I am going to tell you about a man who has devoted most of his life to embodying the power of asymmetry. This giant is none other than Jeff Bezos. When he started Amazon in 1994, it was not a massive bet. Jeff Bezos had no intention of jeopardizing his financial life. His challenge was tantamount to pure asymmetric betting. His job paid pretty well on Wall Street. But what did he have to lose? His maximum loss was his salary and the security of a stable job. It was his 1% defined risk. The loss was so predictable and minimal that he could afford to cash in, since he knew the potential or gain was colossal. At the time, Bezos already predicted that web growth would reach 2,300% per year. He also saw enormous potential in online book sales and in the vast unexplored universes of the web. This represented his 10 times potential. Jeff Bezos himself admitted that he had made this decision in a logic of minimizing regret. He knew that when he would turn 80, he wouldn't regret trying and failing. What he would regret the most would be to have let the opportunity slip away. What should be understood by asymmetric betting? I will be clear once and for all. The concept of asymmetric betting has no connection with a casino bet. It consists of a structurally uneven distribution of risks, a secret well known to billionaires. Asymmetric betting is a scenario where the the downside risk, your maximum loss, is strictly limited, calculated, and absorbable. It represents your stake, that is to say, your 1%. The upside potential, your maximum gain, is limitless and disproportionate. It constitutes your reward, that is to say, your 10 times and even beyond. Asymmetric betting is the very essence of venture capital applied in everyday life. It is not a question of taking huge risks, but of taking well-considered and deliberately asymmetrical risks. The Circle of Specific Skills of Naval Ravikant. The investor Naval Ravikant perfectly dissected how to apply asymmetry on a daily basis thanks to the concept of specific knowledge. Naval Ravikant describes as specific knowledge all the skills that cannot be subcontracted, that is to say, those that one has been able to develop through passion or unique experience and that we have not been taught at school. According to him, the asymmetric bet does not consist in betting or investing money, but rather in investing one's time and concentration to develop a unique crossing of specific skills. For example, if you are good at marketing and like to play chess, asymmetric betting is not about being only good at marketing or being only good at chess. The goal is to become a recognized global expert in strategic marketing for the competitive gaming industry. So what should be the risk? 1% effort and reward 10 times earning. The risk, 1% of effort, several months or even a few years to improve in both areas, to combine them, to deepen them. The loss is equivalent to the time invested. The reward, 10 times leverage. As soon as the market flourishes or a major firm solicits this profile, you will no longer be in competition with 100,000 other marketers. You will be the one and only option. Your leverage will be 10 times or even 100 times more in terms of service pricing, product creation, or career positioning. That is why it's crucial that you remember episode 3 of our series, The Anti-Portfolio Rule, why billionaires intentionally invest in their failures first. It is true that 90% of your bets and attempts may fail, but know that this is the price you must pay for learning. The essential thing is the 10% that succeed, which will cover your losses and propel you towards a certain and lasting financial success. Now that you have understood how the logic of asymmetric betting works, let's see together how to systematize it. Here are 3 filters to apply to identify and validate an asymmetric opportunity: defined loss filter, lever multiplier filter, and minimum validation test. Step 1. The defined loss filter. Evaluate the 1% and control what is absorbable. Your very first real challenge will be to eliminate the fear of failure by defining the maximum tolerable bet in terms of time and money. In terms of time, never let an experimental project consume more than 10% of your weekly productive work time or 30 minutes of your evening. Assimilate this time to your laboratory time. If you fail, you stop and you will have lost a tiny fraction in exchange for specific knowledge that only you possess. In terms of money, learning capital, this is the money you have budgeted for personal R&D. If losing $750 in a Facebook advertising campaign to test a concept prevents you from living decently, it is not a bet, it is an imprudence. My advice, devote only the budget whose loss will affect neither your emotional tranquility nor your financial security. That's the 1% rule. Peace of mind in case of failure. Step 2. The lever multiplier filter. Potential 10 times. Identify the disproportion. Where can you place your 1% to make it generate 10 times more earnings? First criterion, the audience lever. Digital is your best asymmetric ally. A single online course, initial effort of 1%, can educate 10,000 people without you having to rework all the materials. Your initial recording time is asymmetric. Second criterion, the lever of scarcity or non-obvious synergy. In the same way as with the example of marketing and chess, always look for the less easy and less obvious crossing of skills. In other words, if you are an accountant and the blockchain has almost no secrets for you anymore, then you already hold a leverage of 10 times on 99% of your colleagues. Your 1% effort to document yourself on cutting-edge technical manuals and substantive articles on decentralized finance can earn you a lot. Step 3. The minimum validation test. Be careful not to fall into the trap of perfectionism because it is the main enemy of asymmetry. Do not therefore linger in developing and perfecting a complete product to realize that after 6 months there is no market. Here is my advice. If your asymmetric bet consists of creating a new online coaching service, then do not create your complete website immediately. Instead, create an email capture page in 3 hours, which equates to your 1% effort, and then offer a free guide to showcase your unique expertise. If you only get 3 registrations in 1 week, you will have lost only 3 hours. On the other hand, if you have gained 300 followers, then this is a sign that you need to invest more. We went through the essential steps on how to apply asymmetric betting to specific decisions, a business idea, a skill to acquire. But once this first success of 10 times more gain has been achieved, how can we be certain that it is not the result of chance, but the tangible result of a reproducible process? From there, one realizes, ironically, that the result of asymmetrical betting leads to another problem, which is the symmetry of success. The more you accumulate huge gains, the greater the temptation to take excessive risks. You want to go from 10 times more to 100 times more winnings, and you have a lot of trouble resisting the desire to bet 50% of your fortune in a single concept. And it is at this moment that the fortunes collapse. Now, know that wealth can only be maintained if you continue to seek opportunities at a low cost of entry, but with a potentially unlimited return. Hence the question of knowing how to rebuild our way of life and habits in a way that maximizes asymmetry instead of accumulating wealth. While this Season 1 Wealth Operating System has provided you with the necessary mindset and financial framework, our next Season 2 will provide you with the essential operational and structural framework to sustain wealth. The stakes are enormous, and we must always prepare for the worst. This is what I call shock risk, an unexpected financial crisis, a technological upheaval, making your skill gain plus 10 times obsolete overnight. That is why we are going to launch a brand new video series, The Architecture of Inviolable Fortune, Building Resilient Systems. This transition from the simple creation of wealth to the perpetuation and protection of fortune can both serve as a survival kit and a bunker when the world collapses. But before diving into this new era, let's return to the practicability of what we saw today. I gave you one of the most important keys to building fortune, asymmetric betting. Now, I challenge you to take a notebook or a simple paper and just list only 3 actions or investments that you are currently considering. Apply the 3 filters we just saw today. First, defined loss, your 1%. Second, skill multiplier, your potential gain of 10 times more. And third, minimum viable test action. If only one of your ideas succeeds, and I wholeheartedly wish it to you, you will hold in your hands your first real asymmetrical bet. I congratulate you for holding on to the end of this video because it proves your determination to transform your life. Don't let luck decide your future anymore. Subscribe to be sure not to miss the launch of Season 2, The Architecture of Inviolable Fortune, because it is the continuation you need to perpetuate your success. If this video was really useful to you, your like is the best payment you can offer us. And if someone around you still finds themselves trapped in a symmetrical system, share this video with them. Help them see asymmetry. Also, I would like to know what is the 1% that you are about to invest starting today for 10 times more potential gain. Write it in the comment below. I will take the time to read each of your concrete actions. Thank you so much for all the time you have given. Take good care of yourself. See you very soon for Season 2. Cheers!